Hi there, back again. By now we've moved the timeline a bit. We're closer to the sun, but further from the notion of up or down. We've got a new breed of counsel in play. Multiple therapists join the part, one for psych, another for expertise. And yes, Vera remains on standby. I was doing good pushing her off. The job was done, the joint project we engaged in together. I gave her the work, she did the work, and she gave me a good dose of what I don't really like. She likes retaining control, something I strive for when working for myself. It gave me an experience that was, well, different. Different is good, she'd say in my mind, but you had tested me often, and then I had turned a corner, my need for her less, my urge for her even more so. Yet, there I was signing off on the longest vacation ever, all the bourbon at the beach. She's like your vice, under the sink. You're basically a recovering alcoholic when it comes to her. Chris, my leadership advisor, spilled out. He was right as usual. I liked Chris. I've been intersecting with him for years now. We see each other at tech events. I finally bit the bullet and got this advisory package. We're going to peel you back, unleash the real you. So, he said when we first met. Now I don't know where we are in the timeline, but the facts are in. Chris sees Vera as a kind of bourbon under the sink. My vice that I followed to the beach. Because why the fuck not? And Allison, my general anxiety therapist, aggress, but in a different light. What you have with her is special. You know you're built to complete things. This is what you do in your work. You drive to complete things. You don't have to complete this relationship, just let it be a relationship, Allison said as I laid back in the atypical psych chair you see in the movies. It was too low to the floor. I was hovering near inches from the bottom of my resolve. I hate furniture that is too low to the ground. A time slip. Honey, let's just order in. Ali said, staring up at me, the sound of the ocean pounding the surf in the background. We were on day 9 of a 10-day journey. The previous evening I went to the club to see my bourbon under the sink. I had followed her advice. I come to the beach to let go, to relax. Vera is good for me in many ways. She is a constant in my life. Beyond the transaction, really, though the transaction is key to how we work. She constantly pushes me in a way, either mentally here, as I try and rationalize my behavior, and then spend hours analyzing it and realizing I'm good at making the simple complicated, or by reigniting my sense of intimacy and passion. What I want to experience with a woman, the subtlety of beauty on tap, the essence of raw, sensual ease that kind of reformats your brain, and the notion that what I have, what is me, is unique, and this twisted dynamic of us that isn't a comfort and more so a page out of a book that we both don't want to finish. But going to the beach for her alone wasn't the mission. Of course I had to bring my wife. She's my everything. For as much as Vera perks me up, Ali gives me so much more. This is a woman who is at my speed, at my pace of pending hilariousness. A rare quality in a woman, and I love her dearly. In a way, Vera is a close friend who kind of keeps me married. At the beach, the number of moments of Ali in proximity to Vera occurred more often than I thought possible. I guess I was challenging the fate of things. Desperate to be found out, yet be told true. My stomach is upset, less by the lack of decent food, but more so cause of my new-found nerves at edge of an Atlantic paradise. I should have stayed home, but I went out last night. I clubbed. I weaved a good lie, or so I think, and met the bourbon at her club. Vera comes to the beach and works the club, and it all works out. She's been doing this for years, this one of many vacations she takes. The bold, gutsy woman that just does what she wants, nearly all the time. Freedom. My stomach twisted. It seemed logical at first. I did need vacation. Why not the beach? Why not go where your vice goes? I had it under control. We were friends, that's it. We worked together. Okay, she did some work. Okay, she did work and drove my crazy, but I wasn't clubbing much anymore, and I'd purged much of her out of life, out of influence. Besides, she was with someone else, and I was too. I was content with the new cards of our combined reality. You need to move this aside, or you will get hurt, Allison said. This time, she held a spray bottle, red, to douse her care cat, who was seemingly out of control. It had bitten my leg earlier, and I accepted the pain as a kind of verification of the flawed self. Allison's take on me going on vacation with my casual stripper friend, with my wife alongside, a bit daring, unusual, and typical of the human male. You end one game and encourage another. She's right, of course. About getting hurt. I felt the hurt a bit at the beach, watching the girl embrace her new love, watching that and realizing I would never have that. Yeah, that hurt. But the girl and Vera, they're different. But regardless of how I mask the notions, like the emotions, the truth is plain and simple. It's not happening. Ever. Why the upset stomach? The Alpha said, perched on the balcony rail. He was holding on with ease, and he leaned back farther than any normal mortal could achieve. Allie sat next to him, oblivious of his nature, and took a deep drag off her pipe. Tonight's pleasure was the sweet sensation of strawberry cough. I didn't like this strain of weed, really. It was meh to me. I could hear the Alpha's words of the Pierce through the sealed glass door, muting the come fuck me jams below in the near empty pool bar area. I'm obviously upset about realizing the bourbon at the beach still has this hold over me. And that's new? It was for a time. Not so new, not so obvious. I was making progress. I keep fucking up. My stomach had its fun, and I was coming up from the beachside, tired, whipped, and then wham, I ran into them both. Vera and her new man. What were the odds of that? I was not in my calm, collected fashion. I was exposed, worn and weary from a day of realizing that not only did I have to get back to work, the insanity was overflowing, but the bourbon at the beach still had a significant hold over me. And there she was, smiling. The Alpha said as he smiled, laughed, leaning back, letting go of the rail, flipping in the air, and of course landing on his feet some 5 stories below. Yep, she was beaming. That was fate stepping in and course-correcting time so I could see that moment where I'd see them together, all happy. Another slice reminder of what I wouldn't have. Perhaps fate is trying to tell me something, like chasing what you think you want. Knowing deep down what you are with this person is pure lust and nothing more than maybe it's not meant to be. The fact I'm writing this chapter bothers me. Ink on the canvas for recollection. I debated deleting this chapter numerous times. Like it hurts putting it on the page, recalling the tale in my mind, yet it also erases it from my mind. It's a process of lifting it from the grey matter and putting it here, where maybe it doesn't matter, and it's all part of a story. Pull the lessons out from which it came at will, my friends. The girl has the man, but I very much still have Vera. I keep telling myself that. The bourbon is the woman. Vera isn't a vice. She's the infection, a gateway to some experience that's never started or the end. It's just the middle. Remember that. We're in the middle, and that's exactly where we want to be. But the girl, the bourbon, she's back to what she does best. Slightly acknowledge me as she buries Vera into the composite of her soul, where she thrives as some kind of alter ego. The girl is wickedly efficient in total ignorance of me. A time slip. It's good to have you here, Vera said, pulling me closer in the club. Bucket seats on wheels, my favourite. No real drink for me, but the usual patron and beer, for her the norm. She was slipping into the intoxication stage, on the far side of Litly Lit. I almost didn't go. I was with Ali the whole time. Together at the beach we've gotten so much closer. I love her. What am I doing at the club? We've completed a first dance in the back alley of this club, a kind of meat market vibe. It's always a bit lewd as you walk past the sea of men growing the crap out of women on Let's Get Down Row. I enjoy my own double standard. You always have, the Alpha said, standing next to me. He's brought me back to the scene, here to relive the memories of it all. Spiffy joint, the Alpha said as he strolled past one stage to another. Together we watched time play back as the moves went into the evening myself, and Vera played back from memory. You mean a lot to me. I don't know what I would do without you, Vera said in an embrace. I could still feel the lingering energy as I watched myself accept her love and confess my own. And is it real? I said to the Alpha who was poised next to them. He looked up at me. Could he actually see me or just know who I was? Him, in a slightly less polished self. I held the power. Did he respect it? Isn't it always, and what would it mean if it wasn't? Aren't you the manifester? The Alpha shifted it up. Like a VHS cassette rewind, we skipped back into the moment that made it all happen. Which room? The strip club attendant blinked at me. She was cute. Her self, as Vera latched onto my side. I had talked myself into using credit for a room. Club credit on my home equity card, usually untraced, but for all I know seen by Ali as well. But whatever. We would dong it. 1 hour VIP, like old times. Hours later, I would recall a truth I'm sure to be true. The act of the VIP, the transaction consummates the fantasy. You sure about this? The Alpha said, peering into the VIP underway. I was all smiles and happy, and Vera was unfolding into the truest of character I know her by. She was transformed into Vera, the woman I know, her former self, the girl. A bit remained, but Vera was all online, all for the prize of our fantasy enabled. Her tan skin was effortless, though she was starting to peel a bit, like a snake, I thought to myself. That's kind of fitting. But she was totally nude now and straddling me, whispering what I wanted to hear, what I wanted to feel. The transaction is the gateway. It seals the deal, and then we reveal, I said, looking up at him. Let them retain their memories. Behold the age of words without reason, no crime, no shame in season. Of olive branch and circumstance we pledge our souls and salt the wound. I wish he was bigger, stronger, not quicker. Together they seem true. A memory opens. I met his ex. She beamed, all coffee and stare. Vera detuned, happily said. A month or so ago, in a bar, talking to Vera as I gave her a ride to club. She was preoccupied with dishing out the essentials of a recent run-in with her man's ex. They had been playing games of hello and fate, I suppose, and she finally met her. She was definitely a stripper. He's married too, a real good-looking one, I know it, she confidently expressed. Dave is his name. I wonder if I should use his real name here. Seems harmless. Let's do that. Anyways, he's been married twice, both strippers. That seems odd to me, but hey, whatevs. He marries only the finest money can buy. This feels like free fall before the fall. That nudge of wonder before the splendor. She's definitely aged with time. She's in her 40s, I think, she said, downing a beer. Women always seem to at war with time. Beauty and time are double-edged weapons, one exposing the depth of possibility, while the other reminds you of pending certainty. You seem so happy, the Alpha began. I can feel his criticism from across the hallway as peered into my most recent Vera memory. About spending that cash, who's following who, as if you're happy. He finished and sat down as Vera reached into my pants, cupping cock and sack. You like this? She said. Yes, ma'am comes to mind as I watch myself open a new journal in my mind. That one time, pages in a book. The beach club experience was playing back in my mind. The Alpha stood by and stopped the memory perfectly. Every girl wants to feel love and every boy wants to be played. Scavenger who mocks the trade. Silly, the wine. It's all a shard. My mortal penis. Excuse me, the Alpha said, noting the fracture in phrases said. You should have that drink, he mused. Sounds good. Life is a lesson in spears and fences. One to poke, another to contain. The god of fate and treason provides me a few days and a curse of lies. Maybe I'm special, cash is special, perfectly placed and full of wonder. Vera reminded me the truth is worthless, as the essence of right cannot be assured. I've tried to tell Ali a dozen times, and I fear the solemn stare. Will she get it? Maybe yes, maybe no, and that's the truth that cannot be steered correctly. Vera says no truth, protect the cash, or perhaps the man. Maybe projecting weakness doesn't scale. It's the start of summer 2019, and the future is already here. Free love or real love? Can you tell the difference? The run-in. It seems fitting on my last night I'd run into Vera and Dave again one last time. I squeeze in next to Vera and rattle it off as they hug and embrace. Get a room, will ya? I snicker as I ping the bartender for a drink. Ali some 40 feet behind me, sitting waiting for a cocktail. Dave is polished, like a stone, who's rolled around enough rivers to know where all the good fishing spots can be found. His eyes light up. At the sight of me, I wonder the narrative he's been given. What's he know of me? I got gang-banged by a jellyfish, Vera says, eyes masked behind cute pink shades. Her tan skin screams out as her swimsuit bikini top bops into perfect formation. She laughs as Dave and I do a collective eye roll. She welcomes the flaunt of open sexuality exposed in the common sense. She defines the norms and overclocks the attention magnet, poised between two men who are drawn to her like honey in a honeycomb. She pulls energy from both of us, rather effortlessly. They're good together, I tell myself, as they excuse the bar and make way for the pool for a quick dip. Envy comes over me as I see the pool, embrace, held tight. In the pool, they're like every hot couple you've seen on TV. She's in love, like way in, over her head. Let 'em dance, my friend, the Alpha says, standing, blocking my view. This will only hurt you. Dave, I like him. I knew I'd like him. He seems like a good rock for her. She chooses well. I feel the energy from them. She beams, her happiness important to me. More important than my own at times. This whole holiday, the girl did as great job deflecting me, ignoring me, leaving me be. She doesn't like me as much as Vera, that I know for sure. You say that as if you know it to be true, and you're constantly schooled by how she really feels. The Alpha spoke in my mind. I say it 'cause part of me knows it's true. The part I leave up to chance isn't one I'll ever have control over. Maybe the girl and Vera are one, but if they are the same person, then she's even more confusing. On vacation, you get sucked into normal, boring TV, this choice live PD, watching cops arrest people. It's compelling TV, 32 live feeds. I keep thinking of doing something truly foolish. Part of me wants to make her jealous. Is that even possible? Could she really lose her grip? Gabby comes to mind, the girl that rings my bell tower. Part of me thinks it ain't no cheat as this card isn't taken really. It feels fleeting after Gab. No doubt a dish. Gabby calms me in a different way, that's for sure. And she's a bit like Mai in that we're both restless spirits, I think. Like any good sci-fi movie, staying the course with Vera not only feels right, but purposeful. A memory opens. I'm bummed you're leaving. It was nice to have you close, even if I wasn't seeing you. Vera texted me on the final fight of pending departure. We've done a vacation together, turning corners and licking pages. I catch the arrival on TV, a good movie, the language of an ancient species, a bit like my adventure in Vera. You've vacationed with her now. You're beyond any notion of safe. You're trusted, the Alpha said, sitting on the couch watching the movie. Just as they enter the spaceship with awe, I feel the same feeling of complex wonder, not in the girl, but in my own feelings of where we are now and what's to come, he said with a deadpan stare. Enjoy what comes next. That isn't you speaking, your mind fiddling with the fiction who call reality. He fades from view. He has a point. My loneliness is showing once again, going deep on the meaning. The girl always hates that. For once, I'd like to hang with just Vera, outside the club, as if that's possible. Maybe this mindfuck is worth leaving aside. You said it before, you're progressively in the middle, not started, not ended. Maybe these moments you have with her are just that moments on the timeline that never started nor ended, the Alpha said as he faded from my mind. The logic in me tries to fix the equation while the heart part of me chases the lust, fuels the emotion, and revels in the dance of it all. Just be. Is that it? What is love, if anything other than a state of being? Love. If I love her, I'll accept the terms, be it on my own terms, not hers. I accept the middle. I accept notion of multiple, but I don't accept interaction only through transaction. She'll have to prove to me it's more than just that.